Grace and peace to you, sisters and brothers. Amy Wilson Feltz here. I am the pastor of St. Paul's United Methodist Church in El Paso, and thank you so much for joining me for coffee this morning. These Wednesday mornings with you are really good for my soul. I hope they are helpful for you as well. This morning, I want to talk about something that I have been thinking about for a while, and I hope that I'm able to articulate it well. Our youngest daughter is 7 months old, as many of you know. Her name is Olivia, and she was 4 months old when the pandemic hit El Paso, and we were all advised to stay at home as much as possible. So she literally has spent half of her life almost in the house with us. And we often refer to Olivia as the gift that we didn't know that we needed because she was a surprise addition to our family. And she does bring us gifts daily. We are so grateful for her. One of the things that she offers us is a sense of groundedness because she has these needs that babies have. There's this daily rhythm. She needs to eat. She needs milk. She needs to sleep. And as we're focusing on her needs and tending to her needs, it reminds us of our basic human needs as well. And it's really important because we live in a time right now where it would be really easy to try to live above our situation and try to grin and bear it and just get to the other side. But living with a baby reminds you of these basic needs, these healthy rhythms of life. It's so helpful for all of us. The other thing that she gives us is a sense of joy because she has no idea what's going on in the rest of the world. She is experiencing her world with wonder and curiosity. She has this great, deep belly laugh. She has this beautiful smile, and she invites us into that space of joy with her. It just really is a wonderful time to have a baby in the house. So for those of you who don't have a baby in the house, I want to share a little bit of that with you. It can be exhausting for sure, but she brings so much joy and also peace and groundedness. And so we are grateful for that. And it really has me thinking about why God might choose to come into the world as a baby, especially in a very difficult time in human history. And we have these verses in John chapter 3 that I was encouraged to memorize as a child, so maybe they are familiar to you as well. For God so loved the world that God sent God's only Son, that whoever believed in Jesus would not perish, but would have eternal life. And then that's verse 16. Then verse 17 says, for God did not send Jesus into the world to condemn the world, but that through Jesus the world might be saved. And often when we are talking about the life and the death and the resurrection of Jesus, we focus on the birth narrative and the miraculous way that Jesus comes into the world to be a part of the family of Mary and Joseph. And then we have that one episode of him as a boy in the temple going about his father's work, he says. And then we fast forward to when he's 33 years old and we have his teaching ministry, his healing, his preaching, we have his miracles, and then of course we have his crucifixion, his death, his burial, his resurrection. And we talk about those things as the way that he brings salvation into the world, and all of that is true. But having a baby in the house really has invited me to think about the salvation work, the salvific work of Jesus as a baby, because in that house with Mary and Joseph and his later siblings, Jesus would bring a sense of groundedness, a sense of peace, a sense of wonder, a sense of joy, even while an infant. And the reason I think that that is important is it reminds us that God's healing work is always happening, and we're invited to take part in that healing work as well. It reminds us that salvation is not just something that happens in eternity after we die, but salvation is something that is ongoing. Our healing is available to us now, especially in these difficult times like a pandemic, when we need to be reminded of that. And so that's been really helpful for me, and I hope that it's helpful for you as well. When it's really easy to be overwhelmed, to be sad, to be frustrated, to be angry, and all of those things are appropriate with everything that's going on in the world. We do have the opportunity to look around and see how God is inviting us to stay grounded, to stay focused, to be at peace in our soul where we can, and to do that work of bringing healing and rest and justice and peace where there isn't any in the moment. So thank you for listening. I look forward to being with you again next week, and I would love to hear your thoughts about how you are staying grounded, what brings you joy in this time, and the work that God has for you to do in participating in the healing of the world. Grace and peace to you, sisters and brothers.